Good morning. And I'm going to repeat again what I've said because I wasn't live. We are presently live right now on other stations. Good morning and welcome. Today we're going to talk about our beautiful changes. In fact, that is the topic of our live and interactive discussion. Before we start today, I'd like to just give you information as to how to find us and where to find us. We are on your iHeartRadio, Spotify, and if you think you are missing us, here's what I want you to do. Look for our latest stream, especially for Vibe Talk After Dark. Look for our latest stream. And it's going to be on iHeartRadio. Everyone's familiar with that. And it's going to be in a lot of places. The reason why we're going to put it on, you'll get it. You can go to our YouTube page. We'll even leave it so you're not missing the radio show. It is there. And all you have to do is hashtag us and press play. The reason for that is because we're going to make sure that you get it in its entirety. It's so important, and we always want you to know where we are. So, beautiful transformation. How are you guys all doing with that on this Tuesday? I hope that you all are doing good with that, and I hope that you all can hear me. Can you all hear me okay? Don't forget that when you guys are on our podcast, to let us know where you're listening from. And the reason we do that is because we want to know how far reaching we are. And a lot of you are listening from all over the place. Go ahead and make sure that you guys tell us where you're listening from. Saturday nights at exactly between 8 and 8:30, specifically, our Vibe Talk After Dark music radio show will start, and you can hear it in its entirety live, okay? Live on Facebook. We leave it there for the purpose of you all to hear, but if it's muted, you will hear it in its entirety on our other platforms. So we just want you to be aware of that, okay? Good morning, Jacob. Jacob is live and interactive. We're asking the question about changes in your life. What beautiful changes have you all noticed in your life? Well, I'll tell you what. I'll start with me, as I include what are we thankful for. I'm thankful for being able to have the freeness of speech without feeling restraint. And when I say restraint, it is more so of not feeling like the other person is going to be upset. freeness of speech. And even with that, we still can be truthful, and we don't have to be angry about how we express our truths. Remember that. Good morning to my co-host, Trish, and thank you for being here.
Good morning.
And what are you thankful for, and what beautiful changes have you noticed about yourself?
I am thankful for I'm thankful for getting new music out. I just dropped my EP yesterday, so I'm thankful for that. And
Yay.
beautiful changes that I uh that I've experienced for me was, I would say, a beautiful change for me is I am more open in expressing my emotions instead of being closed off from people. I tell people how I actually feel, and that's a beautiful change for me because it adds less stress to my life and less overthinking.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And for those of you who are streaming and listening to us, please, please feel free to express yourself. And don't forget to let us know where you are listening in from. We want to say good morning um, to those who are coming in as we discuss some of our beautiful transformations, beautiful changes. Have they happened to you yet? And if so, how has beautiful changes affected you? And those who are listening can join in at any time, and you can even come live on our Facebook page at Vibe Talk. We are here, Trish and I. So, what are some beautiful transformations? How about embracing yourselves? How about discovering your true selves? How have you done that? Where it doesn't matter what anyone thinks, you know that you have taken care of yourself. You know that you have taken care of yourself, and you know that you are true to yourself. I got there. And I'm going to tell you that it required me to stay true to myself, and how much better I feel. No one knows when that change will happen, but if you work on it long enough, you'll be able to see your change. And that's what we're going to work on today. When we think of people transforming themselves into beautiful people, does it only mean the outside? Or are we talking about the whole inside? And when we change, what causes these changes? Because we would have to be inspired to do something. We would have to be inspired to change. How many of us have really been inspired to change? You know that we've felt the need to be able to change. How many of us have been that way?
I have.
We Yeah, and what does that feel like for you?
It's like an urge. It's like something inside of you is like inside of me was uh driving me, giving me a passion and saying, you know what? Be not talking about how I feel. for example, me not talking about how I feel, it causes a lot of commotion and it causes a lot of sleepless nights. So I need to change something about that. So when I'm having a confrontation with family members or a friend or something, um, I started to express myself and how I feel about it instead of overthinking and, going to sleep on anger. So
Mhm.
having that passion to change it, and I know that it's going to be good for me, it feels great.
I love it. How many times have we self-reflected on the need to be able to get there? We've thought about we need to change into something. And it does mean bettering yourself, not being better than anyone else, but bettering the person that you were before. Um, we think about going to the gym to get fit, but do we have the skill to have mental fitness? Thinking about our areas of developing. How do we develop into self improvement? That is first and foremost. And hold on. I'm back. And point number two, sometimes we say we need to fix ourselves, but we need to understand we don't need to fix ourselves, we need to thrive. When you can be yourself, but you're growing, you're not regressing, you're stepping up and minding up. In our life, though, there are parts of us that want to make better, to progress. Um, as you're all here with me, you know that I am a professional life coach. We all are helped to recognize our positive traits. We're able to see ourselves as we truly are. How many of us have really been able to do that? See ourselves as we really are since we've dealt with Vibe Talk. And I need you to be
Hi.
honest. Yeah. Because I've been able to see myself and some changes that I needed to make because even though I didn't admit it, I was still living in toxicity. So reflecting on that, and let's look at it more like a journey. A journey. Here are some other ways by being a positive example or by having positive examples. Think about those who are positive around you. We think about um, people who are role models. And of course, the people that you're choosing to be role models should be able to produce in you good qualities. Uh, while you think about your emotional and mental well being, those experiences are going to help you imitate what you see in their positiveness. Sometimes when we think about safety, being safe, and I told you guys before that I use the word feeling unsafe, and a person mixed that up with being afraid. Feeling unsafe does not bring fear in this particular situation. I wasn't afraid. I felt that the person was toxic. And a lot of times what we do with situations, because we love a person, you know what we do? We make excuses. May that never happen, because that's going to keep us from the beautiful transformation. It's beautiful when we can self-examine it. No one has to tell us. We feel that. And that's what I meant if you were here last week when I said that I had experienced the feeling unsafe, being triggered to feel unsafe, whatever that may be. And I think it was you, Trish, that said that you're unsafe. When I asked you the definition of what that was, you hit it right on the head. Not being able to trust. That's where I was with that. So we want to be able to keep our well-being at a safe space. Everyone hear that? Keep your well-being at a safe space. Some of us lack support, and if we're having support, we don't want you to feel like if you've said something or if you want to say something that these people that are supporting you will abandon you. And we want you to feel impact with support. If someone is not impacting you with their support, then you want to think about that. Okay. We need really to be able to develop trust. I still struggle with that. Be creative. Own our accountability and responsibility, and clear communication. Be authentic. Once you get up the courage to start recognizing who and what you are and where you are, you will have lion courage. When we think about transformation, it's going to take work because you're on a journey. We have to understand our journey. Sometimes when we're going through the journey, we don't quite see it clearly, if that is the case. And some of us see very clearly in our journey. We might be afraid to take the first step. And here's what I want you to remember. Do the things only you can do. Come a little closer. Do the things only you can do. I want you to be able to focus on what the feelings are when you are wanting to make any change in your life. Are they good feelings? Are they negative feelings? I want you to be able to think about the skill of making a change and not regretting it. How many changes do we regret that we made in life? Have you ever made a choice or decision and you regretted it? Anybody?
I have.
Yeah. And how did that feel for you?
It didn't feel nice. It didn't feel good at all. Um, that situation, I knew it wasn't me, but I tried to impress other people. And so because I did that, it didn't make me feel any better than I thought it would. So because I did that, I lost a friend. Like, we're not friends anymore because I did that. It was a long time ago, but still, I regret that very much.
Yeah. We all have. And I'll tell you with mine, I was in a relationship. And had I known myself better, I probably would have married that person had I known myself better. But I had to make a choice because I knew it was time for me to start making a change, and that was to embrace myself. And I was at the point of he could not love me if I didn't love myself. And I'm so glad as I look back, wow, I actually reached it. So when you are making transformations in your life or any kind of change, you're making the change to improve yourself, to improve something in your life, in yourself, in your well-being, that it actually feels improved. It actually feels like you've grown and you're not allowing things to overwhelm you with connecting. I want you to think about your developing self improvement. We all want to be beautiful, right? We all want to be beautiful. If none of us wanted to be beautiful, why are there so many YouTube channels on beauty tips? Right? We all want to be beautiful. Every last one of us. But now what about the inside? How are we taking care of ourselves? How do we challenge ourselves to feel beautiful? Because a lot of us can really look beautiful on the outside, and it's a whole nother story on the inside. So how do we help ourselves? The first thing I think about is enhancement. Enhancement in attitude. When you make a decision that you want to improve yourself and improve your life, you think about enhancement, making something better, you know, and it's naturally making it better. A smile. How many days have we thought about a smile versus getting up and feeling like today is not the day to smile? We have a lot of those days, right? But now when you think about it, are there more days that you don't smile? Because a smile goes a long way. Have you ever looked at a person or walked by a person and just smiled at them, or they looked at you and smiled? Neither of you know how each other is feeling because you don't know that person. But that's a beautiful thing that you've done, that smile, because that, my friend, is transformation of something. We don't know what the other person is going through. And because you smiled, it may have impacted that person for the entire day. So when we are doing that and being positive, we think about the changes. Because even though the person doesn't know you and you've smiled, they're going to remember you. How about that? Had an experience with a woman that I met some time ago, and she remembered me, and I haven't ran into her lately, and I don't know if she's still in the area. But she told me one day, "You smiled at me." Didn't know this lady, but I had continued to run into her. You see, that lady began to tell me her survival story. And boy, was it a story. And every time she saw me, it was as if I were her best friend, all because of that smile. True story. So I want you to think about how to be beautiful in that way. You know, there are so many tips that we have on beauty, and I can't stress that enough. But how do we make ourselves attractive into where we are connecting with people? One thing is that we have to have the courage. Having the courage where you are improving yourself. Once you improve your life, you want to help everybody. You know, once you get the new way of improving your life, you want to tell everybody, right? It's like a commercial. You want to be able to say, that really works. I'm going to tell somebody about it. And then they get connected and they say, hey, this is really good. That's how Vibe Talk began. We are standing at 323 or 22 people because people get connected, they get experience. We have people who are really listening to getting connected to yourself. The list goes on and on and on. So how do we carry ourselves beautifully, mentally, and emotionally? What does it mean for you and I to make that transformation mentally? Think about that for a moment when we talk about our mental health. We talk about mental health. When we talk about mental health, we really mean it. So I want you to think about your being beautiful in the mind. One thing is being positive. Now, does it mean that you're going to be positive walking around as if you were a robot smiling? If you could imagine that. And we're going to work with smiling today, by the way. But before we do, I need you to think about yourself. Think about yourself. Are you right now in a good relationship with anybody, somebody? Or do you sit there all alone wishing you could be in any relationship? Here's what I want you to do. As you think about your relationship, and if you are in a good relationship with anybody, somebody, I don't care if it's your dog, your cat, I want you to smile. Only smile if you are, and I want you to think of the people or the thing that makes you feel connected. Ready? So if you've smiled when I just asked you the first question, are you in a good relationship? And I hope you guys take this seriously because we need to add some people that we connect to. In fact, the other day I was sharing with a friend. A lot of people say, well, I love my cat because my cat doesn't hurt me, or I love my dog because my dog is better than people because they love unconditionally. Yeah, but we're talking about human impact. So I hope some of you think about people when I'm asking you this. I want you to smile and give yourself 1 point. When we look at our physical activity and our physical fitness, are we okay with it? Do we think about our physical activities? I'm not the one to tell people to go on diets or not go on diets. In fact, I made somebody laugh because I said something that was totally funny, and the people online laugh, and I won't say it because we are on air, and I am a professional life coach, and I can't say that on air. I don't want to say it. But when we look at our health, are we okay with our physical selves, or are there some changes we need to do? If you are physically okay with yourself, being active physically, I want you to smile and give yourself 1 more point. How about this one? New skills. Anybody learn new skills lately? I mean, it's summertime. Have we learned a new skill? Now, when I say new skills, it can include hobbies. It can include learning how to communicate better. It can include um, ranging from something big to something even in the smallest. But my question is, have you learned a new skill? If you have, then I want you to give yourself 1 point. By now, you should have 3 points. And smile, because this is how you know if you are transforming. How about giving to others? You know, we talk about all the time being self-aware. You know, the self, when you say self, you're talking about who? Who are you talking about when you say self? You. Or I'm talking about me. But now, here's where we find it necessary to be able to think about others. You give to others. Share. You're not sharing for any other reason other than because you have that in your heart. You're not looking for anything in exchange. You're not doing it for bribery. You're not doing it for any other reason, but it feels good. Smile and give yourself a point. How about mindfulness? How many of you have really paid attention to your surroundings? Or are you in the same exact surroundings that you were 2 weeks ago, a month ago, a year ago, or have you changed? And this is the realization of self-improvement. Self-improvement. How many times have we thought about that? It's going to require something. Our minds. How great is thy mind? Wow. remember that we can do so much with our mind. It is extremely powerful, but we have to be able to cause in ourselves ability. Remember, we talked about capability, ability. How many of you remember that? When we
I do.
think about our mindset and what we're able to do, nothing should be able to keep us from doing what we want to do to transform, but our own selves. Many people feel like they just can't do a comeback once they have gotten off their journey or their path. They feel like they can't get back on, but you can do this beautifully. You can do this by making a list, staying connected to things that are important, and disconnecting from the less important things. And that doesn't mean people, because people are important. I would have said years ago, I'm going to disconnect from anything that has to do with people. But even in my latest experiment, I really understand to stay connected. Because you see, there's nobody that can tell me about myself more than I can. And I know what the truth is, and I know what the lie is. How about you guys? Do you know the truth about yourselves? Or are you still believing in the lie? Here's what the lie sounds like. You're not good enough. You'll never be worthy. No matter what you do, you will always fail. See, that's the lie. And the truth sounds like this. You can do your best and only your best. You are enough. You will succeed. And failure looks like challenge. Think about that. See, that's caring for your mental health. Your mental health. We're going to be right back after this break. We'll be right back. Go check your favorite stream. Feel free to be interactive and tell us your stories. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, Epic, We're also on Facebook and Instagram. Go give it a shot. We're back, and we are talking about beautiful transformation. In Vibe Talk, you get to learn how you do it. Good morning to those who are coming in. Good morning, Blair. And we see you. So, how does your personal transformation look? How does it look for you when you think about who you are, why you are, what you are, and where you are? Did I cover that well? Think about that in your personal transformations. Are you satisfied with them? Once you have discovered yourself, you know what's going to happen to you? You're going to be able to help someone because you've had to go through the journey. Is it going to be easy to make this transformation? Nothing is easy, especially if you have to do the work. You know, a lot of us, we don't like work. When we say the word work, how does it make you feel? You gotta work. You gotta work. But think
Tired.
about it. Were you gonna say something, Trish? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say you asked how does it make us feel when you say the word work, and I say tired.
Yeah, because you know you gotta put some effort, right? Yeah, you gotta work out the kinks in your life, and it's going to help you to help somebody else. In fact, even in our emotional transformations, this is our inner journey, our inside journey. It's going to take a really deep look at us. How do we do it? Self-care. Self-care. We're able to think about ourselves and place value in ourselves. Yes, I said that 3 times and I meant to. We're able to place value on ourselves. Where do I belong when it comes to caring for myself emotionally? We think about looking at ourselves and being able to regulate with the questions we're asking ourselves. What do we want to get out of this? Do we need to adjust our emotion? Do we need to take home more gratitude? Do we need to focus on being more positive? You know, a lot of people that come into Vibe Talk have been through therapy. And I encourage those who are working with any psychologists, any doctors to take it seriously. But I want you first and foremost to decide your plan. Because it's nice to have all of that as your support. But at one time or another, you're going to have to figure things out. You're going to have to figure out your emotional and mental diet, so to speak, your emotional or mental script, how you want to carry out your being beautifully transformed. I want you to find out what causes negativity in your life. I want you to be able to identify. See, that's my job, to help you as I help myself identify. And the negativity in your life, how you can change that. Because after you become negative for so long, people expect that from you. They get to know you by these traits. So you want to switch up. And even if you feel negative, sometimes you don't have to say it. Because you can choose to have new feelings emotionally and mental feeling. I want you to acknowledge here are some things that I think is going to do you really good if you really think about it. When we want to change ourselves, and this is for everyone out there, I want you to acknowledge the power that you have. Some of us have a long time that we have buried things. We've been through that in the feelings book. Some of us would rather go through our journey and ignore these things because we don't want trauma. Nobody does. Nobody wants to recall pain in their life. But if you talk about it, you're able to do what is assessing it. You could listen to all 300 of our podcasts and still not have decided that you want to acknowledge. But acknowledging. Ask yourself right now, have you acknowledged? Have you used your power to acknowledge that you buried something and that you need to talk about it? Here's the next one. Identification of what started your pain or your trauma. You see, that was important for me to go through, to acknowledge when something has hurt you or you went through your lifetime and you went through some pain, for you to be able to say, I've been through that, and that is what caused it. So we need not be afraid of that, because that's going to, our acknowledgement of it is going to make for a beautiful transformation. Practicing self-love. How many times have you loved yourself in the last day? And what did you do to practice self-love? And this is not teaching you to be self, because when we say self, who are we talking about again? We're talking about you. Practicing self-love could be that you like older people and you love to be around that, and that's where you go to volunteer, or your self-love could be that of giving. How many times have you practiced loving yourself? What's the root cause of your wound? Ouch. Yeah, that one. When someone can see it visibly and ask you what happened, you tell your story, right? Well, there's a lot of us that are walking around that people can't see our emotional wound. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean that you haven't. Have you taken care of that emotional wound? Have you beautified it where you are taking care of it? You're working on the healing parts of yourself, because many of us have been wearing the Band-Aid that covers over that emotional pain or wound. Have you decided that you're going to carefully take that one layer of bandage off so that it can start to heal? You know, even the doctor gives you a set of instructions if you were to injure yourself or to take care of any wound. You always get a set of instruction. How many times do we carefully read it? Can I be honest with you? I almost never read it. Are you shocked?
I do the same thing.
Yeah, I throw the paper away. Because you know what I say? Oh, I know how to take care of that. So what do I do? I walk on it. I do all all the things the doctor has told me not to do because I know what's on that paper. Don't walk on this leg for 6 weeks. And as soon as I'm out of the anesthesia, I want to start walking. This is what I did in my last surgery. And I hurt myself. Was that taking care of myself? Because you know what the instructions told me. Don't get it wet for up to this many months. Don't uh, cause yourself any stress. But I threw the instructions away. That's not taking care of myself. See, if I had have thrown the instructions away, I could have healed if I were to really listen. So let's start listening to ourselves. Have we covered our periods of beautiful transformation? Let's not answer it yet. We're going to be right back with Trisha's Treasures. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. It's hard for me because I'm not focused on it. So what do you need to change about that? You need to focus on yourself. How do we do that? We don't become blind to everything around us, but we have an incredible desire to help ourselves. You know how people say, may I help you? Ask yourself, may I help you? Give yourself permission to help yourself. Because if you're always thinking about making the change, but never doing anything about it, you're never going to see that change. Face my eyes, face my eyes. We're back, and now it's time for Trisha's Treasures. Trish?
So I made a chart about things to embrace about me and things that I need to change. And I made this chart because it's something that we talked about in the beginning of this podcast, that we need to, some things we don't need to change about ourselves. Some things we just need to keep striving or keep developing about ourselves and not fix it, but because it doesn't need to be fixed. And I thought about embracing the things that is actually good about me, the things that make me who I am. And I used to be ashamed of them. So, first one I have on my list is kindness. I feel like my kindness is a big part of me, and it makes me who I am as a person. I love being kind to people. I think everyone deserves kindness, regardless of their past. I feel like everyone deserves kindness. Kindness changes people, it impacts people, and everyone should receive it. And while I feel like that, others may not feel like everyone deserves kindness. But for me, I feel like everyone deserves kindness, and I'm going to continue, okay, to be kind to people, regardless of people in my life telling me, you're too nice, you're too kind. Like, you don't know them, but I feel like kindness comes a long way, and it's a part of me. So I will not stop being kind to people. I'm going to embrace that. The second thing on my list is wisdom. here's a reveal about me. I used to be ashamed of being smart. When I was a kid, I got bullied for being smart. People thought I was trying to embarrass them, or they would uh, not talk to me unless they wanted some answers to their questions and things like that. And I started to not like that part of me because it was a love and hate sort of trait for me. And I'm embracing my wisdom now. I love to know things. I love to learn things. I love to use what I learn and talk about what I learn. And I'm also a fan of the fact that I love to teach people as well. I mean, that's what I'm going to school for, to be a teacher. So I am embracing my wisdom. The third thing on my list is my creativity. I always talk about my creativity on here, and I'm embracing my creativity. And I used to be shy. I still am a little bit about my creativity, but I used to be shy a lot growing up about my creativity and my talents because I thought that it didn't really matter, that it wasn't important, and I was embarrassed because some people would treat me different because I'm not going to say that I was better than them, but because they thought that I was better than them, so they would treat me a different way. And that's what happened. And so I closed myself from being creative for a while because I had to take that breath, guys, because it's a lot. It's very emotional. I tried to just forget
Understandable.
just forget my creativity. You can't forget something that's inside of you. You can't forget something that you were born to do. So I have no choice but to embrace it. So I'm going to embrace my creativity. The last thing on my list is speaking up. Now, the ones that have been with us in Vibe Talk for a while, you guys know that I'm not a talker, really. And I'm embracing the fact that my words do have power and I can speak up. And I'm so happy and grateful for this platform and for Vibe Talk because it shows us that when we think we can't speak up about something, yes, we can. It just takes our strength and our courage, and we can speak up. All we have to do is just start, begin, speak up. So that's what I'm embracing about myself. And the thing, the things that I am embracing about me is important. It's essential for me because it's so significant. Because it's me. It is treasured. That's who I am. And I'm going to keep embracing these things because I thought they needed to be fixed. I thought they needed to be watered down. I thought that it was something. Sorry. I thought it was. I thought it was something that needed to be ashamed of, but it wasn't. It was something about me that needed to be embraced. So find the things about you, whether they need to be fixed or embraced. And if it's something that makes you you, embrace it. Learn how to embrace it. I learned how to embrace the things that I need to embrace about me is putting them into practice, putting my creativity into practice, putting my wisdom into practice by doing the things that I love to do. So, what are the things that you need to embrace about yourself?
for more of Trisha's treasures, you can go and hashtag that. Trisha will put the information in for you. And Trisha's responsible for our music that you hear. And very creative. Did you find yourself in the beautiful transformation that we just took you through? I found myself because here's why. I found out that all I had to do, and Trish, thank you for this, was embrace it. I know that I can be very straightforward, but I don't have to do it in anger. That is something that I have changed about me. When I first started teaching Vibe Talk, I told all of you about how angry I used to be. People were afraid of my anger. In fact, when I was in counseling, my therapist was very worried about that because that kind of anger could be very blunting. So now I have said things and I know what I'm saying. Don't let anybody try to manipulate your mind into believing that you don't know what you're saying or that what you're saying is unfounded. Keep true to that. Embrace that. Thank you so much, Trish, for that. We're going to encourage everybody today to do just what Trish did, was make a list. And don't forget about the smile, because the smile, how many times, Trish, did you smile when we did that little assignment?
5.
5 times I smiled. See, the more that you improve your beautiful transformation of your journey called life, the more you will smile. Those are reasons. We gave you 5 reasons to smile. Embrace that. Thank you so much for today and Transformation Tuesday. Look for us on iHeartRadio through the internet. Hashtag us. We are here for you. Call in. Our YouTube page is up, and we're going to ask you the question all week so that it gives you something to stay active. What has been some of your beautiful transformation? Don't be afraid to answer, and let us know where you're from. Please and thank you. We want to say thank you to each and every one of you, my co-hosts especially. Thank you guys for tuning in. It is amazing that we've had over 5,000 listeners. That just boggles my mind, because sometimes when you think it ought not to be, it is. We want to say a huge thank you to you guys for believing in us and believing that your mental and emotional health is of importance. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. We challenge you to have periods of beautiful transformation. What did you learn and discover about yourself today, Trish? And how did it make you feel?
I learned that I didn't need to fix those things about me. I just needed to embrace them and keep them going, because they are a part of who I am. And today I felt vulnerable because, to be real, I never talked about this before. but it's a good kind of feeling because it's real, it's raw, and hopefully someone can relate to me, especially people that are going to school, since school's starting and dealing with bullying. And hopefully they realize that um, they need to embrace who they are instead of fix who they are.
Yeah. How did it make you feel?
Oh, it made me feel, it made me feel, it actually made me feel good because I let it out. I talked about it. It made me feel relieved. That's a better word. It made me feel relieved.
And you had some tears there. I want you guys to know that this is a safe place for you to talk about it. And even us as co-hosts and the hosts, we get very real and raw and vulnerable. Trish used that word. And it's okay as long as you're in a safe space. For me today, I learned through you, Trish. I could so relate to you when you talked about your creativity, when you talked about your wisdom, because that's the true you. Even when I was younger, I used to feel embarrassed every time I got on the honor roll. I would literally cry because I made the honor roll. And my mother would tell me it's a good thing to be on the honor roll, but I don't think she understood when she really did. Even today, people are intimidated by my intelligence. Is there something that I can do? Um, are they intimidated because I'm standing 5'1" or 0? Depends on who I'm standing next to. Anyway, I find that people are intimidated. And I could really relate to you, Trish, because in my heart, there are people that know me and try to make me feel like I don't know anything, but their opinion of me is not my business. How many of you have heard of that before? What they think of me is none of my business. There's a quote that says that because I need to learn how to accept that I was born from someone intelligent. It's what I do with it, though, that makes the impact. And I'm choosing to stand my ground and keep this platform open. So thank you, Trish, for helping me to learn and discover that I need it not to fix it, but to embrace it. Thank you so much. That hit home for me. We help each other here. We help each other here. That's what we're supposed to do. If you like this program and you want to be part of our live program, just tune in. Don't forget you can find us on any place that you are listening to your favorite podcast. We hope to be some of your favorite podcast. Thank you so much for your listening. How I feel like, wow, there's somebody else that actually feels like me. I know that consciously, but to hear Trish say that, it's like looking at myself in the mirror because I'm not that little girl anymore that has to fear. I'm the grown woman. And if they're intimidated because I'm intelligent, there are lots of intelligent people. I like to learn just like Trish said. She likes to learn. I love to learn. I can learn so much. Even in this podcast, Trish and I we'll have our meeting tomorrow and we put things on the table to find out what we think will help, what we need to talk more of, what we need to reach out to people with. So let no one talk down to you. If you're smart, you're smart. Use it in a way that impacts others. Thank you all so much. This is Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, all about mental and emotional health. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, I challenge you to transform beautifully. Because I don't want you just to make a resolution. I want you to think about. I was really by the moms and feel I got the vibe with it. I really took the time with it. I really love the ride with it. Really got the vibe with it. I took the time with it. I really love the ride with it. You can really see I'm better you. When you get the vibe with it. Yeah, when you get the vibe with it. Yeah.